Hello and welcome to the Dapper Gaffer channel. I'm Josiah. We're here at City Stage Studios in Rockford, Illinois, talking about optical accessories for LED point source lights, or cob lights, as they're also known. Why they settled on that name, I don't know, but that's what it stands for if you are curious. I think the F10 Fresnel from Aputure is a great piece of kit that really maximizes the 600D. However, I noticed in practical use that it really wasn't doing the same thing for the 1200D, despite the fact that it's listed on many sites to be compatible with the 1200D. So let's slap this Fresnel on each of these lights, fire them up, take some meter readings, and see what's going on here. Maximum power. All right, so we've got this on the 600D, currently in full flood mode, and we measured, and the light is 25 feet off the wall. Actually, the cob is specifically 25 feet off the wall. Let's see what kind of reading we're getting on that. So I'm reading 11 2/10 at 800 ISO and 24 frames a second. Let's throw it into full spot mode. To be able to compare the other extreme as well. (16 6/10) or 592 foot candles. Now, we put it on the 1200D, which is theoretically twice as bright as the 600. It's pulling twice the wattage. 100% on the 1200D with this Fresnel. We're back in full flood mode. And I am reading 11 4/10. Which is only 2/10 of a stop more than the 600D. Let's put it into full spot to compare that as well. (16 6/10) again, which is the same reading we were getting off of the 600D in spot mode. Maybe just a few foot candles more, but effectively the same amount of output from a fixture that has twice the wattage. So why is that happening? Well, let's take a look here. Turn this light around for you to see as well. If we take a look at the LED array in both of these fixtures, you'll see that they actually look quite different. On the 600D, the cob is really toward the front of this, the inside of this Bowens mount here. On the 1200D, it's actually inset all the way back to about here in the fixture. And on this kind of barrel that's built in, it has this mirrored reflector surface inside. And clearly when you're putting optics on each of these, it's not going to act in the same way. Because if we look at the inside of this 600, this F10 Fresnel, you can see there's actually an extra lens in here. Nice glass piece of optics in there that's clearly optimized for the 600D and pushing that light into this nice 10-inch Fresnel. For it to be more efficient on the 1200D, my assumption is they would need to create a different optic in that center part of the lens here. So that's the challenge with LED technology. As the lights get bigger and more powerful, they have to figure out ways to pack more LEDs in here, they make the cobs bigger, inset them, whatever they're having to do to optimize that output. It's not the same as it was with like tungsten or HMI technology, where as they got brighter, the filament or the arc size didn't really get that substantially bigger. So just because you have a Bowens mount fixture doesn't mean that you should put any modifier made on it, specifically when it comes to optical modifiers. Soft boxes and things of that nature make less of a difference. So the conclusion I came to from practical use with this is it really doesn't make a lot of sense to put this Fresnel on the 1200D, because you might as well just use another 600. You're not getting effectively anything more out of using this light, even though it's drawing twice the power. The only time where it would maybe make sense to do that is if you just wanted to make the light have a more even spread of light, have the spot and focus ability. You could put this Fresnel on there if you just happen to have one of each on the truck. That would be a situation where it could make sense. But otherwise, you should be using another 600D with the F10 on it, because it's going to be much more efficient. So Aputure does have an F14 Fresnel out now that I believe was designed for the CS 1500, their 2600 watt fixtures. I'd be curious to test that on here and see if it's a better fit for making this more efficient with the Fresnel. But I don't know. If I can get one from Aputure, maybe we'll do another video on that. I wanted to show you one more example of an optical modifier for these lights, and that is the Spotlight mount.
All right, so I need to interrupt your regularly scheduled programming with a public service announcement, and that is to always have your audio monitored while you're on set. So Kiko, who typically does sound for us on these, was not available the day that we recorded this episode. We had to get a little scrappy with it, and turns out our recorder died halfway through one of the takes. We thought we had redone the take on the day, but turns out we really only did the last little bit of it. So this whole section has no audio. So let me just talk you through a little bit what we were doing here. I just wanted to show this kind of silly or extreme example of how poorly this spotlight attachment works on a fixture it's not intended for. And we did turn down the intensity to 12 on the 1200 just so it didn't melt the spotlight attachment or anything like that. I believe the spotlight was actually designed for maybe the 300, the 150, and I think the 600 is the maximum that it's rated for. It does some great things for the 600. I use it with it a fair bit, but it's clearly not intended for the 1200. And in one part of it, you can see, if you focus it right, you can see the individual diodes on the cob there. So I thought that was pretty amusing. Back to our conclusion in the studio.
Well, that's all we've got for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed our little comparison with these lights and these modifiers. I found this one particularly amusing. Hopefully it helps you to keep that in mind as you're putting together your rental orders or deciding what to add to your kit. Just remember that it matters, not only the mount, but what it was designed for. We'll see you on the next one. All right.